Right, we will be a about the about sports arena. Brasso say a transnafi. Yadi a good munsem, a bro, yadi a good munsem, bro. There now, you say, Quaya, Nam so before so be debate, Nabi Biakoye, and no uncommon and new baby dear, and Yasam Ketuakra. And let me know, Cassay. And then a Tuesday, because a Tuesday, now would the boy cheer, would him say, and a Champions League day, semi final one return leg. Semi-finals, one return leg. I'm telling you. And then, Barcelona and Inter Milan. Barcelona so person mo get trouble. Na Inter so person get trouble. But me no ka say Inter tena home Milan e born yini fimu e wo Coppa Italia no. Say league no any Champions League na aka. League ne kra no omo destiny is not in their own hands. Intimate market yourself, maybe omo destiny you fully in their own hands no. UEFA Champions League. Omo tumi akwa away, akobo draw. That's 3-3. Na omo ba fie. Saying a game ne beko. How are they going to fare? Inter Milan ne Barcelona so edika je Kings Cup no wajidada. Metuma catch yourself La Liga no. O winning matches na aka nyina wagili La Liga no na fe Champions League no aka 2 matches 2 victories away from winning the Champions League. Na someone winning treble no omo tran fie board 3-3 but omo so omo kwa away akoye the unthinkable omo kwa koyi Inter Milan na film no omo tumi akomanim Brennan Caribbean betuma chere the santre mu ni nyina be de beba the possible lineup, player to watch, the tactical approaches from the two coaches. Queen was so much abeja for the intremuni be brona be bia to me akoye ndra sha no so say yeah na Chelsea didn't na yes firm ding Crystal Palace hosti Nottingham Forest ofie Crystal Palace ne di ka share first goal na nka dodo na hwenim se ko me hodi on na so Newcastle and I say Nottingham Forest bet 1-1 in emum say Nottingham Forest and Chelsea 2 points 2 points into for Chelsea to maintain the 4th spot and the 5th spot. Chelsea was so avoiding defeat against Newcastle this weekend. Ko nya 1 point kan ho a na say even Nottingham Forest if you know share Leicester Crana. Chelsea be leading with a goals difference. Enti senior dynamics in it no. Me no ka say Aston Villa so be call a bomb of home. This weekend games no enye fe dia grokra. Chelsea ni Newcastle be home. Enya sam keto akra. The Newcastle trafie na Chelsea ko share dia na ne asamaba sem kese pa na ide na aba no. Nti ye decide dynamics ne so be de beba na wohu de ekọ de eba afei ye beba fie ni abehwe fisem kakra under 20 endra omotumi sane fam enya victory na nye convincing there but the most important thing no tournament cause we want to go to the World Cup na be so this year ya e wo Chile nti e was a team need to me qualify at the core ASR competition no nti omo to me na 4 points likely so me qualify their call manim na fi omo hwe se the 3 best teams no Ghana betumi awrem bi na yetumi qualify na fi bibia anso etumi akoyi ewo no she no say show no stream live or street is watching or Facebook so now call YouTuber MYBET.AFRICA TV MYBET.AFRICA TV and ho and the streaming show no dia fa YouTube afei she no say call online MYBET online MYBET online radio MYBET online radio obeti en kana bibia so no atumi akoye TikTok ya hodum sports.arena.news and na ukọ Telegram hodum no ye de games ni nyina agu se ubedi better omodi ane join yen ewo Telegram account me no ka say enye fe di agro kra Telegram account sports arena sports and arena ARENA oni e behwe abom na ye the games ni be bro na wo hu de ekɔ ne ba na afei ye de nchemu ni nyina enso atumi abro sene ese efata e wo no me din di listo Benedict was over TV and ka emrepam asaka na all streaming show no e de amaye Benedict me ma kwa ba
ya listo me jo so
bibia e kama de
bibia e kama
ya yen hwe my better education no na utimi se nyasem keto akra
yes say hwe my better education there ne Champions League e wo ho the Champions League in so bad there obi enim say obefe scar my bet omo no ma bet builder option e ma obetimi ayo selections na ope etimi afiska e MYBET.AFRICA nti ene wutie mi a call browser number www.mybet.africa ubo wi a ebebie top right corner obo registration e wo ho ubo registration is so a first thing na ebebisa e your phone number ubo phone number ni shema the next thing e your username u nickname edin bia pese u use bia betimi use wo na afide odo password na taichi password ni kai en chemu bia unko an use na make sure so betimi the real platform ma fiscal we on be send verification code verification code ne ba now they are verify your account na Champions League bet builder ne rim on every game MYBET.AFRICA bet builder ne ma 10 different options in the Champions League on beboy or 10 different options I'll betimi afa eye den a o 10 odds o 20 odds to 50 odds from one game o betimi nya nti we are MYBET see a na fa o bet builder option no for fiscal this Champions League e ba be course.
Right, that is my better education na yetumi di abro no ti bomodi na register na bibia so no entumi koyim endra two teams team bit say Girona needed a victory because be order no mutimi say almost fall no I am very shocking but understandable because build the team for one season now born humode na say one keep consistency in terms of playing body no now we changes and the changes was the spine of the team on say na Barcelona defender Eric Garcia he was there, he was an integral member of their defense and about midfield wa omo integral member na omo to midfielder omo to ne the name I think your friend Garcia omo to ne the Leverkusen and omo winger creative spark the other creativity ba Savino and so called Man City the normal top striker Abrante friend Dolbeck the normal right back say Europe one of the right backs last season almost turned them Dortmund almost dismantled team no fighting relegation is understandable or is it that as a level then I drop it too much
o share game now it's not about maybe level now drop it it's about team no we friends and players so mutimi aton me film ne affect him so sha untimi team bia wo one key players omo into every season bia make sure say omo boom you last season Savino any Dovbeck they were one of the key players and not every time omo boama goals Jeruna timisha no mutimisha me be kan 100 say last season omo build the team to the extent at December no that first of the La Liga edu baby nyama antimi ankoye mom omo share Barcelona home and away omo share clubs ni baby home and away and make sure some pick that maximum victory timi bo omo munya the highest points season ko na wie yes na bia o pese o ton players enu nti na o ye rebuild na bibia o to a we replace with a younger talent and even talent they can match players omo ko you who so muja players bebre kwan but additions no anye bebre tesenya omutimi yen and mostly the core of the team ne kosa na etimi affect team na nunti na this season ye hu so mo battle relegation na ndra na kwan bia so omo ne Mayoka no na nke so omutimi fa that particular victory o share into the game almost start game ni ye mindra mbeka say Mayoka a team bia o La Liga na uyi the top teams say Real Madrid, Barcelona omo ye team bia in the first half omo time concede nti obetimi a Mayoka meaning say the second half but so ubetimi a in the first half wow as a club because in the second half Mayoka for ball more defensive no me to counter e dey ashe goals into utimi in the first half after the woman the pressure senior in the second half no ntimi sit back more SOP any obo na o share Girona team no ma one player at the end of rumor say bia nkobeko and obe retire na bibi went me anya den emfri ho on the draw to me boom a bed that key player in the setup it mean that go mom. One thing about this team they say so mo person mo bomb mo modern no mo making sure say relegation no mo nkwa. These are games that so much me win. And they with just one win or make me about better 15th position. That means or me free that 17th position and no more than nyama nko ye no. Now the remaining 5 games, the remaining 4 games are kano. So much me a very crucial, especially in making sure say every game omuntimi win kra na omuntimi nya den and pick a point enya den in free mo na emboa. Ohwe this season one thing on my lucky a creative spark my team no until they go into games they just feel like okay game no mu lose but komunya the likes of Savinho, the likes of 1 or 2 players nkombetimi aye dem ombetimi abom modern this crucial victory ni beba. Ohwe my last games aka on Villarreal so this season nyama enko yi ema no oni we Valladolid ono so sa El Namaseo Real Sociedad enso nyama Villarreal na say na nyama nko e ba afi no ma pike form ne kakra intino ohwe Real Sociedad the only difficult game or the last fixture against team friend Atletico Madrid intino ene ohwe ne 4 games aka obetimi average at least 6 points and at least 5.3 mu I bet me aboa na maneti me keep that buena onko relegation na sisi and in the summer they need to add players who say sometimes no obi beka so mo player me turn ko kra mo another player be replace no but sometimes some players will team one untimi replace you within 1 season intine ebeboom say ndo mutimi pick is a maximum victory no amo mutimi ndo am to ahwefo for say this a game 1.5 year option intimi mbo inti say ope the safest option Uma Mayoka 2 goals handicap na odds ni so ye I'll bet me their fiscal MYBET.AFRICA. Yenhwe AC Milan indua na kwan bia so eso mo wini and against Genoa na the first half was a very boring first half enyame ntimi anko yi ama AC Milan but in the second half consistent 1 or 2 changes we are no players need di nkomo bia na me no so no omo performance need me eden eko nenim AC Milan needed this win a chin team bia. And Indra Mebo say if they are to get into that Champions League, the matches are can na so timi wini. It's Indra game no boy any can one 4 matches. 4 matches na kin na quite bia so timi picky victory. No making sure so more than in him no. They would either lose 1 or 2 games or draw. Send you bet me aboa ne or 57 points. So bet me rather there's a Champions League more. Oh he has 6 points. No, they rather Champions League space no. Now that Champions League space, a Honor Juventus occupy. Juventus Echino, Ubehu Roma, Ubehu Lazio, Ubehu Bologna, Ubehu Florentina. These are teams that on any day, week in week out, they are picking points. International Milan as why she pa. Every game of both free and a coping season every no. Eso timi wini. Na ni wini no, and yes maybe. Otimi cause me amekobodro na bibi ese etimi convincing because of your goal difference ade ba kwa teams na won enim ni no omo bigger goal difference esen no nti enye se wo kọ se mekwa akọ wini keke ba ese otimi di she goals o hwe ne last games aka at the end of the season a bit tricky emano especially with AC Milan now nim say their games they go into nim so game we there AC Milan betimi wini but obekọ sa game no makwa akọ lose yen hwe ne last games aka Obebo Bologna, which is one team on in a fight for that Champions League spot. No, we are about Roma, another team was in a fight for the Champions League spot. No about Mozza. Into the game between Bologna, any team a friend in Roma, no, they are difficult game as well to me winning ye. So when we near and home no.
Okay.
When we near and home and these are games and yet easy to win, sir. And yet easy at all to win. So Usha this season, Bologna Echenation 2-1. Only Roma this season, first round no. Roma so Echena soon ye pa. In that game, Utimi any Roma ebo 1-1. These are games in the first round we intimate winning. See and so person qualify for the Champions League. Meaning that these are crucial games as a consistent and brand here. Rafael Leao any players dinner making sure that these are games so mutimi winning a very difficult season especially the remaining 2 games aka owia osani Bologna Zambia Coppa Italia ultimately sa trophy ne ka ho meaning say obekọ 3 trophies within that season a amazing season but to ice that champions that way three trophies away to me ageno, you need the Champions League. And they are the back it will make their season one of the best. In Tindrano, it was a good game for them. Mutimi pick that 2-1 victory. Then do I share all to my bet. Emma AC Milan now no a day. Near 1.82. Uche AC Milan straight win 1.5. Unam 2.3 odds. My bet and draw. Investors 80 me face sky ye pa MYBET.AFRICA. And Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. Ye di unko mo bebre. Say Nottingham Forest season in ko ye. Nyama se na nyama kika ko Nottingham Forest no. See, and that's what we have to my dream or the Champions League sport. No, at the internet said they are one team and they weren't expecting to even get to this place. But they so made me do on to me in case we join the so to me and making sure said that sport no to be to me either afa. In Tindra, it was a game and Miss can say Crystal Palace. Anytime you have a Monday, no about Monday games in 24. We win mu 3 pe. We about draw 7. And at the can lose. It was a game at Crystal Palace. Na history back to win on the night. Even though so munya the early goal in a penalty in easy ultimate share, but na still na inyama back Ndran so me can say this fixture ye who goes baby. It's over 2.5 likely saying to me but under 2.5 me can say Crystal Palace to score because in their last 7 home games no ometimi goals and also Nottingham Forest handicap of 2 bet builder bet me more fiscal my betting do bet options am the mind no need not me go through based on Sir Crystal Palace in Nottingham Forest game young boy. I think Nottingham Forest me nim say fatigue na TSMO say den ultimu say that Chris Wood any Gibbs White mo partnership na enyama timi ko yie no atiko Calemos no do April but Osha this season there are games we were na do baby pon to me start na obemu in the second half but still Osha performance wise no team no adepe form na de PE pa and at this time na performance at the PA ebe ha adwin ye especially going into the latter stage of the season obi ahwe say enyama betimi akoyi ama wo hwe omu team na dia one team a inka ye de me emfa ne say expected points and expected goals pa na air.
They don't deserve to be
there.
They don't create chances.
And
at this stage you need wins.
Yes. Uye team now person who team winning games you need to create chances. So when create chances meaning say you can't get to that Champions League spot. Into NA, we the next game against Leicester. That's when Timian create a lot of chances and Timian wins our game now. Meaning they don't even deserve to be in the Champions League. So we expected chances this season. A team create here. Inka me expected chances any point no. In case of that 14th, league table.
Okay.
Meaning the uncreated chances at all. Uncreated cry. Ne the say obebo counter no enya one goal bi no ahye na defensively they are solid into sha this season goals and kesu utimi hye no ontimi mpo nhye sa goals no intinka ye the expected chances any goals na ehwe the anka this season quarter 14 fe bia nko ne omo maka wa ase or battle relegation inka only that top 5 and top 4 race ni mumpo in the league into ene wetimi ewem one thing ebom ne say they had a good start. They had a very good start. Yeah. They did well some games. Otimi konya 1-1 draw or Chelsea, Otimi koche Liverpool, Otimi ne Arsenal, oni omotwe oni City, Moni oni City. Any other teams be Otimi nya crucial point etimi boa. But at the end of the season, obetimi we are simano. In the Premier League, any league in the world, no, enye sprint race, a marathon. So you need to start well and also end well. So Otimi start leading one ending a year. These are some of the things a bit to me. I see Crystal Palace, and so me can say they are one of the teams say in real season, aka 7 matches, aka 5 matches, aka 4 matches, they will give you that maximum point. Into no this season, they are one of the teams they are very consistent, especially when it comes to ending their season. Their seasons from 2013 they've been very consistent. They make sure say for 2013 say 11th Otimida 13th spot but season be and then we will push it 2 up about that 11th spot. Oshe 2014 na other 13th na 5 games ako push it ebeda at the 10th spot. Oshe 2016 no more battle relegation Otimi fighting free relegation battle no beda 15th spot. E course one best season Otimi nya was in 2023 enim. Last season 2023-2024 how impressive they were at the end of the season Otimi push here better at the 10th spot into me a team bia their highest spot ometimi ada in the Premier League 10th. Omoda from 15th to 10th, 15th to 10th. So mostly they don't get to enter into that top 10 race and maybe first to 10 this season. Almost say likely they can break that record, they can get into that position. Maybe if there is any spot for them, they can take advantage of this season. And so Oliver Glasner and Brandt and Ebom, it was a good game. Eze has been one of the most exciting players for Crystal Palace. Say a player and goal contribution, the chance creation. Emma Crystal Palace score minimum. He has been one of the key players. Obon Humodin, and then you say maybe with likes of Man United, any clubs be almost share a number 10 or a central attacking midfielder in their teams. They would like to go for a player like him. Indra Mateta, and so it me a boani timba. You name him say performance. I don't know, said with injury, a man performance not confirm kaka, but he has been one of the key players. Say Crystal Palace. Go to man when they need that crucial goal, that header, that ball striking ability to get that crucial point for them. With their 3-back systems, any Oliver Glasner is very solid, and with their wing backs in Michel, any Munoz, they are also putting in a lot of effort. And they were able to pin the likes of Nico Williams and also Oli Aina to stay back. Add more to attack. But I think it was an exciting game. Senior boss, Chelsea fans be and a Newcastle fan and an Aston Villa fan be anybody with that 1 point. Nottingham Forest 80 minutes. And then Chelsea in Newcastle actually move 2 points. And in that game, Ombishia in the weekend, Nottingham Forest in Super Bompire say that game should at least end in one team winning. So team back to me pick that victory now. Meaning say if they are
only winning or
one team but if it gets into a draw, meaning say Owinia with goal difference, no the same point, but with goal difference, obe maintaining that same seat position than until to be a very crucial game for Chelsea and Newcastle this weekend, especially Newcastle playing at home. A good advantage among. In the first round, they'll lose it to Chelsea. Into any Obena so person will that revenge against Chelsea. Into it to be a crucial game. Nottingham Forest will have one of the easiest fixture in the weekend against team a friend Leicester. Nina be dependent on how Leicester can come into that game. Senior boss, Leicester have been into games on Chelsea or Chelsea. It was just a 1-0 victory, and a Chelsea 80 winning. And any say Leicester for person muye bibi. At the boom former coach a friend Enzo Maresca, then they need to come into that game and help team a friend. Chelsea says home beat me, but Nottingham Forest about the City ground home stadium on my son ye papa on time lose games so it's one thing it to be behind team a friend. One thing behind team a friend Leicester 4 team say ne form home ground. Senke the home grounds per NL league na in Nottingham Forest wabo 17 games home apiki 31 points. Uyi Arsenal, uyi Chelsea now uyi Man City. Any Aston Villa obi eni ho home form team e friend Nottingham Forest. It meaning say the home form ya de ba ko a e wo so uyi pa. Ohwe team meet say Leicester on also near away former. He's one of the worst teams, especially going into away. We conceded 26 goals away. We about 17 away games. When we just 9 points free. Inti Leicester City will be away and the performance in any so. But one thing about Nottingham Forest this season, we blending between home and away form. No, say this season away form Nottingham Forest in the away form and they decided the league table in any other third.
Oh, okay.
Because we are away 18 times. I pick 30 points at me free more than the likes of Manchester City, more than the likes of Newcastle and Chelsea. Into away at the back where Buano. And home no with me blending here. But in him say with the season in his last 6 games, I pick just 1 win, which is something very disappointing for a club like Nottingham Forest. Starting so well, Onya a good run, winning against Man City, Ipswich, and Man United twice, so are still a nyama. It's a Ajiegu from their loss against Aston Villa. But with a race to Europe, the top 5 we have any same chances are for any team to get into that European sport. It will be the year per weekend way without crucial games nearby. Teams need be asubeshi, especially the Arsenal, Chelsea, and Newcastle. Janyelo ke muba kubeti me Lucy the sport or more occupies this year with the Premier League.
Right, I was looking at Oshe na me hwe Newcastle ne Chelsea 11 we ansana Nottingham Forest
Yes.
about a bonny match. How would that play out?
Yes.
It will rather either the extra pressure because it appears that when teams above them nunya results no or no baba react here on to me pressure
To
no.
me, yes.
So realize because against Brentford now when we say teams ni nyina then abo awie or no never be went to me. Then this weekend so teams ni nyina abo Chelsea nya victory, Aston Villa enya victory,
Yeah.
even Newcastle then I drop a point. So no you say Newcastle drop a point. Chelsea to me already. A year winning. Man City winning. Yeah, it want to me pressure. So how was our game way affect a year?
And I think with game we where we can win one. There are some crucial games where it can affect Chelsea, any team a friend in Nottingham Forest. I didn't make us say on Saturday, Man City is Southampton will be in say Dan de Man City. Man City will pick that maximum point. No, I train Chelsea ni Newcastle. The meaning said that game omu mienu be shiano. And yes, omu bo draw. And I will be lose who be chill. Man City mubo we are at 4:30. Aston Villa any Bournemouth
yes.
And in that game, Chelsea ni Newcastle ni Nottingham Forest ni be ko. But the Bournemouth it Misha Aston Villa. And man Nottingham Forest more comfortable.
Yeah. So
because
now,
when him say with Aston Villa enya more closer into see na so hwe say Newcastle ni Chelsea ba ko nyi ni nyonko no ntiminya and with Chelsea ni Newcastle so no that Bournemouth Aston Villa game to be a game ehun hiombo mani ba ko be wo so because Aston Villa epic maximum pointer they are more dangerous than Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Intino it will
because
be one game
away and yes. Following match be home.
Yes. Intino will be one thing at Chelsea ni team a friend in Newcastle ni also. Then that crucial game on Sunday 11 a big game Emma both sides. Into Nottingham Forest or no one is so very relaxing. Results never about on how can they react to that result. And no na de ba kwa o can say during this season anytime they are in the position to react to a results to get advantage, omuntimi. So it will be a crucial game for team a friend in Newcastle, especially playing at home. Okay. When Timmy and picking that 3 maximum point at home, Chelsea after this game or Man United and Nottingham Forest. And Man United in him said they don't go into games with their full lineup and a full 11. It will be an easy game for Chelsea. Now no, I dare Chelsea here and say a draw against Newcastle, a win against Man United, a draw against Nottingham Forest, win your Champions League spot.
So here how many points? 4 points.
Yeah, 5 points.
5 points from
3 games.
From 9 points.
Yes, from 9 points.
Okay.
Utiminya a win against Newcastle.
I know.
That will be one crucial game. Chelsea Newcastle, a final for Chelsea is a final for Newcastle. Inti say Nottingham Forest there. I think the only thing I can say, Opeso didn't hopes now to that last game on the Chelsea webo. It was City ground, Or say a home game against Chelsea, a coin to advantage a mom. Inti say and it's a Newcastle, it's Misha Chelsea. And a Newcastle to pick a point from Chelsea. Now Man United is only Chelsea board draw. Would him say that crucial game on match Chelsea that 3 points on an easy ground. Inti Ababe Adebakwa, it will be very exciting. So that race for Europe in the Premier League is something obi adwen yes ultimi koso enu nti na ye kase mo nko MYBET.AFRICA games in the bekoso nti fisika na unsu twa bi wo na unsu timi fisika there are other games bi wa unse ye kan European sport in Europe Arsenal ye feel say they are occupying the second position but City win against Southampton na Newcastle ni Chelsea ba ko pick a crucial 3-point winner na Arsenal ni game against Liverpool that will be the day e be the trophy ni betimi a share Liverpool nsa. And Liverpool be on my dream say if they need to punish a team, even though so much league, team be where so much on my ass now. Until that game, who they tell Liverpool against Chelsea, we may see a full 11 from Liverpool to play that game at home. Make sure say their fans will come and witness, say they would demolish this Arsenal setup and make Arsenal feel say they were nothing closer to them. When it comes to the Premier League trophy. In TNA, that game, Arsenal, entimi am pick maximum 3 points na City e pick maximum 3 points ade a Arsenal de betwe City mu pe e be goal difference, because we goal difference between these two clubs are 9 goals and Arsenal were ahead of Manchester City.
Okay.
Inti minji in this City betimi akoshe Southampton nice
obetuma bama obetuma share City me kwa say Haaland ni mu nyina join.
So betimi share Southampton 9 dia meaning say end there you betimi end the weekend we na bia Arsenal ayeden am miss out on that second spot. So City point me share Arsenal entimi share Southampton 9 na bi otimi share Southampton 6 na Liverpool so che Arsenal share ne 3 a balance wo ho ama City nti betimi abo nti Arsenal on position no mo dane de enye boko sa so we hwe point okuta at 67 points now we point remember say Nottingham Forest impo out of the top 5 race ekuta that is 66 so Arsenal lose in the next 2 games not Nottingham Forest win the next 2 games obetimi aba occupy a bigger position in the league locks in Arsenal. Okay. In Arsenal there is pressure almost, so I think the Champions League on Wednesday will decide their season.
Okay.
Because if they are to get into the Champions League final omeni be mienu omutimi fa eni mienu nhwe to abaako. Nti eso omutimi jai baako na baako ko. And I don't think any Arsenal fan be na dream say enjoy the Champions League and Messi club no for all these decades until will be the league and a teams be take advantage of. You share Arsenal to games aka it will be difficult. And my team friend Arsenal, especially say Americano battling these two competitions at once. Na ya de baako e be hard. O share the next games aka obebo Liverpool we are obebo Newcastle.
Okay.
No aba be boss Southampton. Inti Liverpool game no say Arsenal lose or the ebufuo any pressure be good Newcastle so.
Yeah, I will home.
And a Newcastle so that point no here.
Yeah.
To be able to battle the likes of Chelsea in Nottingham Forest. Into Arsenal.
And even Aston Villa.
Yes. Into say Arsenal no. One man season now be difficult especially getting that second spot. Even though it's a bad day, it will be a shock.
Yeah,
if Arsenal can drop out of the Champions League spot. It will be a very shock to get that. But the next games I can Southampton Penegino. And then Sadia can 9 points to beat me losing now drop out. But with that Southampton away, it was Southampton that St. Mary's Park. No, I don't know. Say Southampton fans so the pressure be good players. So say you championship there. Our last game of the season, they were home there. Mum picking maximum 3 points in my name Fanco. But Arsenal, it were crucial games to play, which will play a big role in their European sport. Into Newcastle, they are not so beshi. Newcastle your team be on so asubeshi.
Okay.
If you don't know so the fixtures are or but Chelsea or Beba Arsenal, no Bible Everton.
Newcastle. Everton home.
There be Everton that was in James Park.
Okay. So no home the mostly in the crowd.
Everton so must win.
Yes, so
this is a cat team or Pedro or Bopan Everton.
Yeah, bet me
no Beba board draw no then they was say will be
yeah.
Newcastle so the games are can annoying.
Okay. All right.
You know, it will be something difficult, especially with the 3 games. I can. You know, himself on them. Osha fixtures now. Chelsea and the fixtures more than. But Osha, the way at Chelsea, it's my max. Improve your in games against Liverpool, against Everton, and they only Newcastle, but we only Man United, only Nottingham Forest. I think on table. Newcastle, it will difficult fixtures.
Okay.
Or very difficult fixtures. Nottingham Forest is
Chelsea
difficult fixtures. Chelsea is difficult fixtures. As at now, these 3 teams now play 2 positions. Until when the bit me take advantage of the Nyonko.
I think this weekend will give us a fair.
Yes. This weekend, there Chelsea, Newcastle will be here that 3 points. But either say baako befa and numbeche 1-1.
Okay.
Numbeche 1-1 is we be boy team a friend Nottingham Forest here. So it will be a very difficult game for these 2 teams, and also Nottingham Forest. Share season await me enya na enya meti me agye egu sa.
But the way our create chances. Even Oshe go against Crystal Palace. Now to me say
it was a mere lack. It was just a deflection. Yes, it was just a deflection, and this we a buy. Into any season no ne wie ye ntimi ankose ne omope. Because I think if they were on good form with a good performance and Kenny, they would have even occupied that second position.
Yeah,
Because
sure,
of Arsenal
sure.
performance more than it did. But Crystal Palace in draw and making sure say that hopes some more for Europe no. On beating me at Wakaka. No mama swan shit. Crystal Palace no for point in your but no so she say a record was setting the Premier League and boss. So every season piano one born home money and that 10th position, 11th position Otiminya. Into this season, ni hopes they say opeso Otiminya Otimi remu in between 1 to 9. Senior say be a bibi or honey be a playoffs we and I bibi betimi nya the area Europa or no betimi abobi because there's so team keeping the players as no timi enyes cancel etimi supporting the club kakanti ene enyama etimi akoye ama Crystal Palace Nottingham Forest enso ayeden or no so nyama etimi ankoye but sia no senior okan ne mpa ebo nyina ne say Chelsea any Newcastle or Muba could drop it that 3 points.
One will win,
yes.
So that
be
quadrangle. Now, Mubaku win no bit much Leicester because we've seen Leicester beat and also all come away at drop a point.
Yes,
Brighton
I drop a point.
Brighton per European
Leicester
sport.
na edu baby a week in week out week Leicester team ko ebeba.
Because their game against Liverpool, for instance, they got me goal almost and I feel it was a clean goal.
Yes.
It was a clean goal.
Their games are against Liverpool. They came out to play against Chelsea. They came out to play.
Yeah.
Oshom game on board this weekend against Southampton. You say yes, everything was working out well. The only thing about me about Leicester and say they can pick the momentum from that Southampton game. Not with Nottingham Forest bad form of woman. No, my imagine say at least a relegation. Let's try and pick some good points and make sure say fans ombetu kwan away fans ombetu kwan ni ombe home ombe hwe fixtures na etiminya the last 3 games they can get something to we cheer about, especially with our championship ombebo next season.
All right, yeah, Vincent, yanhwe ayendra games AC Milan boy Girona so to me win AC Milan win here Senamidi can off as a Newcastle Nottingham Forest a bed in the amono on bed drop a point and pass or drop a point. Any can share 2 goals. When they can share go Crystal Palace they can share and Nottingham for the prepare people one new for Crystal Palace class back as a boba or baby. But then 1-1 or drop a point. Say behind Chelsea with 2 points. Into Yenshesa, I had analysis Niambra in a Champions League game.
Yeah, list to I think that there be a league in a Juno. A Drew stage say Ayana Obiani Abre. People needs the points. And a bit more how much for points in here. And those teams in list to a Drew this time, Yama one and say Obi in here points no. Your first guy in Ngunechi. But I'll check Crystal Palace and in Nottingham Forest game now. Because Crystal Palace, the baby Odano, he is in the pole position. On relegation. Also, only any European sports. So he's just playing. The best football. And Oliver Glasner, you can't want to say it drew later stages of the competition. I na about home modern. And Nottingham Forest was a team. He needed the point so bad. But then if Omunya a win krana, okay, beats me a patch Chelsea because at least not Chelsea lead by more games, and they have after that draw number, they have 61 points, just 2 points behind Chelsea, and they will play Chelsea. The number of games of the boss are very high, so I think that now share Crystal Palace. I mean, catch us Crystal Palace about several games or Selhurst Park or Omunyan Lusuye, especially in the last 8 games, no Omunyan Lusuye. So and now check it. Nottingham Forest. So more recent games are normal, but at least it wasn't convincing that they were going to win because if those days are Nottingham Forest or Liverpool or 10 games unbeaten run and last I said they had their moment, especially look check league now. Every team had their moment. Chelsea began December and better call here. Almost be your mode. So the moment I'll be your moment, no stack your points and I say bad they had moment. You have to make sure so even if it's supposed to be a loss crowd over 10 a win, and that is the situation. I think that Nottingham Forest may predict say I see that game to be a scoring draw. Let me win a 1-1 draw, and I knew that if there is any team over in Libya, it was going to be Crystal Palace. And in fact, I know I bet is a penalty. But to me, Eddie Omokoye. But Ochake a year, team and near a year, Northern Forest. They have 4 or 5 key main players, which is their goalkeeper and their cells. Or one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League this season. Arguably, even if Mr. K have more clean sheet in their last 3 games, he's possibly going to be the first goalkeeper outside the top 16 teams and as a first goalkeeper outside the top 3 teams in the English Premier League. Obetimaji Golden Boot. Ola Aina Praye, how they struggled to fill that position. And their main key players this season has been Callum Hudson-Odoi, Ilanga, Chris Wood, Eddie Morgan, Gibbs White, or near the creator in the team. Indeed, whenever any of these players is Prebiana, they seem to be the 2 teams, but yes, still they find ways and means to score. And then they were able to, equalize. But yes, still Crystal Palace has a chance. I mean, they've been showing strength. They've been showing angles such as they want to be play and they want to get that Champions League spot. So I think that I wasn't surprised for that win now. That storm meter or money team and a year, Crystal Palace boy and AC any Genoa boy. Ochaki AC Milan play a lot of players and Bobby, Rafael Leao, Joao Felix Muna and Stati. People are saying that this season AC Milan baby more than it looks very unlikely say they can even secure a Conference League spot at this point because list to all. You check the Serie A league table no. And after that 2-1 victory Milan against Genoa no, they are on a 9th position with 57 points. Omoni team and then Eddie Juventus. And Juventus in that 4th position. No check Juve listo. Juve 63 points. And then they AC Milan a 57. Just a 6 points. And then they say if Juventus are capable of winning 2 games out of the last 3 games now, they might not say Milan winning the last 3 now, they can secure the Champions League spot. But here as the case is Juventus going to lose 2 games out of the last 3 games. Juventus, apart from Lazio, which is the next game in the Serie A, a very tough game. He's going to play Udinese and Venezia or no so heading or call relegation. So looking at how a name it might be very difficult. But yes, Lazio so head than him, and again Bologna so head than him, and again Fiorentina so head than him. To all these teams, say if one of these teams, it's me making sure so it's me winning 2 games, we bring 6 points out of the possible 9 points now. It makes the journey very difficult for AC Milan. And right now, on destiny, if they can play the Champions League at this point, it means that Juventus, AS Roma, Lazio, Bologna, Fiorentina, all these teams have to lose more than 2 games in their last 3 games. So sad teams with me lose 2 games out of the 3 games all these teams, and it doesn't look likely. Say any of these teams, especially Roma, at least all. In fact, one amassing more points than any other team since Claudio Ranieri joined when they were battling relegation and the bottom of the league log. So AC Milan, they still have a shot, which is the Coppa Italia.
So I'm asking this: if now you say victories now start they are winning games, there is a bit of stability. As a coach, need to deploy a tactics are getting the best out of the players. Players are returning from injuries. Now he's getting assuming say Conceição manages to get European spots, maybe either conference or Europa. With the means a victory now now ultimately Coppa Italia no. So Coppa Italia on Bologna final. So ultimately do you think so the idea is at the end of the season they will have to look at that decision.
The issue is it is clear that they want to Conceição Ebiana Wantina. But listen, on say in football, the contract basis at towards your amount KPIs reach these targets. But even if at the end of the season, Conceição ends me reach that target, now listen, if he's able to win the Coppa Italia, no secure European competition, to me, I feel like they should maintain him because especially this season, most of the signings are omoye and kebet me abo no. They couldn't live up to expectation, and one of their key players are nkobet me abo this season. Rafael Leao hasn't given the best. Senkokoye say Leao eputi match the best of in performance. Then maybe coaching tactics and at the end of the day, Eric Kioma would have been better. But this is this one. It was purely defense. Any injuries near home. So list of me to me, Uchekiyomu games like list of. They will play Bologna in the Serie A. They also play AS Roma. And these two games, especially playing Bologna at the San Siro, I think that they can win. And also playing Bologna in the Coppa del Rey. Coppa Italia. They can win that game. But Listo, aside from that, Omobo Bologna in the Serie A, area no Bologna in the Coppa Italia. They will play AS Roma. I'm gonna call AS Roma home. Rome. That one I doubt. But if they're able to win that game against Roma, which is the unthinkable thing, some of the top giants, some of the top teams are more formal. The Italian Serie A this is then also in the last game against Monza, or Monza, it means that he can even get a European spot. That is the Europa League by default. What you say?
Yeah.
By default, Oberto's fifth position because Bologna from scratch now they were performing and Omotikoye.
Yeah.
On and off. So to me, I think that they should just make the right and then Tijani Reinders, obviously or arguably my best player for them this season. In fact, one transfer be money man Adam for Kofani free. Is it Feyenoord and PSV? And I don't know if Rafael Leao is still going to stay with them next season. But to me, if he's able to win the Coppa Italia, I made that abysmal performance because even if how he managed to beat Inter Milan on almost 3 or 4 consecutive 4 games this season. I would say 4 consecutive 4 games this season. I would take one lose to Inter Milan. Ejeza is a very good coach and he needs the right material to work with. Please, even if they lose to Bologna in the Serie A, they know that if they lose to Bologna in the Serie A, they know that their chances of getting an European spot by default are very slim for them. So it means that they would have to win the Coppa Italia. So to me, I don't know the arrangements, the contract. He has to win the League 1 League in a Bepam. If that is the case, fine. But if he's able to,
at that time now wait my league, no to me but then they were also hoping like a Champions League, especially now they were in the Champions League. No the red card will be against Dynamo Zagreb. Then I think
do baby lose to us 2 times.
I think the Champions League
taking lead. The season so perfect for him. But at least maybe not winning the Scudetto wasn't part of the KPIs, but at least securing a Champions League football for next season, very. But yes, still, if they are going to play the Europa League, he should do well and also win the Europa League the following season, also secure Champions. So to me, I think that they have to keep him, unless maybe if they are sacking him, they are going for the Mourinho's, the Antonio Conte's. Pam consensus and so far any coach be who believe in say I mean that criteria and so be one of the best coaches now confined at this time they are build up now air consensus. In fact, what they have to do is say they should maintain consensus or win the Coppa Italia, a team secure Europa League spot more or make sure say make me maintaining Tijani Reinders because after the league offers will come. I'm hearing Liverpool, I'm even hearing Manchester United and even Real Madrid. I will make sure make me contain Tijani Reinders and also maintain Rafael Leao again. No, I'm making sure so make me assign it number 10 and I mean another striker be 8 the number system. In fact, I want me a very race nimu. Akakofa Victor Goycrest money. These strikers are other teams people more. They can compete for the highest trophies that in next season. Listo.
All right. You're sure in the game now. Yeah, you're sure in the game now. Yeah, let's look at all the options available.
Yes, Listo, and then the Champions League one of the biggest games I bet me because I think this is the first time I even a Champions League semi-final games you can't decide on what will happen unless Ebebo 9 and Ebebo 9:30 and San wait me who they basi. These are two teams in the first league. You who say maybe can say it was a defense against attack type of game. Baku are very sharp in attack. We share a lot of goals this season. Baku defensively solid. Oma consider the least goals in the Champions League this season. Up to Inter Milan on a by mini game or boy. Now if a game where goals are considered, no consider just 4 goals in the Champions League. Barcelona and so be share 3 count. And Barcelona and so every game will make sure say one shot and then any 2 goals and any 3 goals. So this will be one fixture. We will still see goals in this. And yet then we'll see goals because you can't defend for 90 minutes and they are the back. And also see away goal rule in here. If that away goal rule was still available, I can say yes, Inter Milan will go into this game and search for a 0-0. But a 0-0 wouldn't give you any results in this game. Yes, game we are with Champions League history, especially on this game, mostly say if there is a game for Barcelona, no go home first, no quite away and time buano. We've seen it against Liverpool. We've seen it against AS Roma. It's Barcelona away form, especially when it comes to, and even Dortmund. We see Barcelona away form, especially when it comes to the Champions League. So we go home first, aqua away no. And yeah, mostly say 5 are out of 5 no. You move 3 obey me if we. That is the competition more. Inter Milan a team here mostly they prefer playing at home. Especially when it comes to the Champions League. It is a watch this season, on my league phase, they just considered 1 goal in all the games they played. We buy many game now, they played in the quarterfinals in Frima. They just considered 1 goal. Meaning when they are playing at home, their pitch favors them. Send you bet me a city low block. I am more compact compared to going to away grounds. This fixture, who the last time Barcelona ever stay Inter Milan in the Champions League at home. And they 1-0. Then the second leg Nico and they 3-3 so it's likely say maybe Inter Milan would like to replicate that same scoreline. And if they are to do the same thing, they would get into the next stage of the Champions League. That is the final. Barcelona and Hansi Flick and they have a boost in confidence with Lewandowski coming into the team. Okay. The first league, almost without Lewandowski, but they were able to get 3 goals. And they, with Lewandowski, their key man, one of their key players in their front three, they will be very happy and they will make sure say they can get more wins. Obi beside me say, this game, what do I expect? This is one game. Barcelona in the Champions League. Every game Barcelona gets to play because of how aggressive they are, especially Somulu Suboa, how quick they want to recover. And mostly it leads into yellow cards. Into Barcelona in the Champions League, every game Barcelona average at least 2 or more yellow cards. And Inter Milan into a team here, as they are playing at home, they are one team. Mostly yellow cards into bookings of over 2.5 option I meet me to be for say come MYBET.AFRICA or bet me afa. Game in the first league we saw a lot of corners in the first league. Inter Milan who in the first league said they can undo Barcelona with set pieces. Going into this game says Inzaghi a plan for this game. Bernard say they should get a lot of set pieces. If it's corners, maybe a throw in or a free kick near the box with height and with presence in the box, and they'll be able to undo this Barcelona team. Inter Milan will be looking for a lot of set pieces in this game. With corners who in the first league. Barcelona is with the chances are Lamine Yamal and Rafinha creating. They also lead to a lot of corners because they will just cross a ball untimi and cleanse. I just head the corner na away. So today corners and so you are the back will bet me who in this game. We see a corner of over 8.5, over 9.5 also in this game. So become MYBET.AFRICA bookings any corners are the back will bet me who. But goals on a normal day, Mecca said this will be one game I will see Liz Utia within the next 10-15 minutes or so Sancho will be. So this is something that will lead to a lot of goals in this game. And one thing I'm seeing in this game is we see a more compact Inter Milan compared to the who was Spain. We see a more compact Inter Milan compared to the who was Spain. The who players beat said DiMarco being one of the key players for Inter Milan when it comes to chances creation. But the net means a coach Inzaghi based on the performance Utimida and the was Spain. I think in Spain during the first half na so wabre enu nti no timi yi nti ene with Lamine Yamal pressure the bema on that side no. It's either maybe you can start another player and later you introduce the mark when game is stretchy to come in and create a lot of chances. Inter Milan setup no, players I think that can make good changes for the Inter Milan setup. One DiMarco, depending on where he will be introduced into the game, if he will start or come into the second half. Chanoglu and Barella, these are also two key players. The Inter Milan beat me up bossy in Finfino. A distributed balls to the right and the left wing positioner. Meaning that these are two players that they need to step up their game. And who in the first leg almost stepping up on the game, no, they were able to break through the Barcelona high line. These are two players they can step up and make something good. Lautaro Martinez in the first leg when a good game. He's fully fit to start. We are looking at say he can be the Lautaro Martinez have been seen in the Champions League. That clinical striker, he takes chances and make sure say Obetimi explore this Barcelona high line. Inter Milan setup. Barcelona, their weakest link in this team on Betimi Aboene would be player Efreno, Eric Garcia. Today, I think Eric Garcia will start as the right back for them with Juskunde Prano. And Eric Garcia is not comfortable playing as a right back. The best position is about from Manchester City to Barcelona is a centre back or as a number 6. Even as a number 6, no, he's not that comfortable playing there. It's an interperson more explorer, meaning that they need to use DiMarco very, very well on Eric Garcia. And also on the left side, you say Baldi ain't mean but Jairo Martin, I don't think say coach the best starting in this game. Or Bernard James say maybe a call for Indigo Martinez on that side to be able to stop Dumfries. Indigo Martinez is a player where he doesn't have the pace to be able to match Dumfries. These are two links as Inter Milan explore in the Barcelona setup. So maybe I explore these two links here. They can take advantage and get the early goals a bit here above. Yeah, Barcelona and so team Nikaka. With Barcelona and Lewandowski coming in is a booster for them. Now no, Acerbi mo, any Bisek mo, any Bastoni mo, they would have a figure in front of them. Within them, they know the potential as Lewandowski could compared to Ferran Torres. They know say he wouldn't come closer to them. Now Lewandowski would come to you, try to push you off the ball and take the ball and distribute it, send your person. They would have a big headache against him. Efreno. They will have a big headache against him. Efreno. Your friend saying Barcelona with Lewandowski being in charge. And they Inter Milan set up. No? If Barcelona are to explore them, the places they need to explore more. The DiMarco Bastoni side with Lamine Yamal. I didn't make us say DiMarco with the pace. Any who they no ontimi engine Lamine Yamal so now it's either they are doing more of a man marking on Lamine Yamal to stop him from creating a lot of chances. Barcelona omo ball na no person create a chance and they send the ball to Lamine Yamal to be able to create the chance for them. It's Lamine Yamal jibo no or one or two players taking them off. Adio Ben say now he pulls the players out. No create a chance the likes of Rafinha and Lewandowski or Dani Olmo and Ferran with Lopez or Mubio Betimia started. So now they need to take that. Barcelona need to take advantage of that side. Bastoni aggressive. DiMarco need that pace to run up and down, to go up front, to also get back. Barcelona can explore those channels and use it so well. Another channel that Barcelona Betimia explore the middle of the pitch. The likes of Pedri, the likes of De Jong are very talented to be able to outsmart any center midfielders will make me sure in any game. So if they can distribute the ball well to Lewandowski, and Lewandowski would be like a link-up play with Rafinha, any player friend, Lamine Yamal, they can explore this Inter Milan setup. It will be a very difficult game. Emma team, my friend Barcelona, especially with the Champions League history, and also going into a tougher ground against team, my friend Inter Milan, which they come into games defensively solid. It will be a good game, and will be a win your chance. I'm sure the first leg, on share this game. My options are more on this game. Send me boss, over 2.5 goals, over 2.5 bookings, over 8.5, over 9.5 corners, and now may share second half into 0.5. I didn't tell you my options here more based on like remember say neutral odds. They say this game, I don't know who can get into the Champions League final. It will depend on the first 20-30 minutes of the game. But say the home record and the back and the Barcelona record of not being good in Champions League away games, I think Inter Milan has the nod ahead of Barcelona. So a handicap of 2 for Inter Milan can also be one option, and Inter Milan win or draw would be one of the riskiest options. But I think it would bring a lot of odds. I will be to media fiscal MYBET.AFRICA.
Okay.
Yeah, Listo, mommy, yeah, Sanchez here for you. I think that the game will be very exciting. Looking at how our first leg and and in fact, we'll check the last 2 games between these 2 teams. At least one ending a 3-3 draw. Last 2 games in the 2020 group stage game and the first leg also last week. Looking at the game, I think that especially with the injury situations at Ebano, HSA, Obeka, I say Lautaro Martinez in your hamstring problem, Emma ni free mu, Emma made it time mobile. So going to this game, already Benjamin Pavard, who is an integral part of Omu team this season, Mikacho say how Omu set up Omu team no. He's one of the players Omu then if Bisek is going to do that work for him very well. I bet me on okay down freeze and how down freeze 2 goals, especially ultimately my Inter Milan team no. And so Thuram and Lautaro Martinez and Bisek players are on this encounter. Right now on the Barcelona side, so Jules Koundé and so any injury, he's out of this game. Alejandro Balde has started AA training, but late fitness test is not going to be part of the squad on the game near there. But there's still Robert Lewandowski. I don't know if the coach will risk playing him at the start, but definitely he's going to be on the bench. And you see, with these 2 games, no, me can say proud to this game. Now Inter Milan they've considered just few goals in this Europa Champions League. No more keeping 5 clean sheets. I mean, no more consider just 4 goals. No more keeping 5 clean sheets in the Champions League this season. And they were coming up a Barcelona team at least was share 40 goals in the Champions League this season. Especially no other team in the top 5 leagues in share more goals than Barcelona this season. And Mesanso say averagely in the Champions League this season, Barcelona averaged 3.1 goals per game. Barcelona averaged 3.1 goals per game. This season, they are the side that they have that potent attack. But they will find ways and means to penetrate. In Tiwasha, the moment Thuram in the first leg, Munchik, when you had the first goal in 30 seconds, that is in the history of the Champions League list. That is the fastest goal. Obiashe in the semi-final game of the UEFA Champions League. In 30 seconds, Thuram shares a goal. I know Omunya the second goal. We saw how Lamine Yamal, 9 players, because at that time, now Inter elbow low block, both mid block and low block. But Lamine Yamal managed to dribble past Thuram. At the ball new run with 9 players, it's me label my ball and share. And yet again, they were able to stall the game. And I think that game was a game it's me boy Timanidi Basayev, knowing for a fact that O consider the first goal in 30 seconds, also consider another goal, and then they check here with just 5 teams, and they no more consider just 5 goals. I keep 8 clean sheets. In that game, Mikacho say, the team okita the best defense. And the team okita the best attack in the Champions League this season. But yes, to you, the team okita the best defense. No, Mikacho say they have 2 key players. Almost you goal machines this season. They're having a fantastic season, and then they Thuram announcing their presence. It was quite unlucky. Say, unfortunately, say Thuram in your hamstring injury free mo, but Dumfries made me share goals no, and then Barella Mohaba or control game. In terms of how almost set it up, very hard for all the teams. If Inter set it up, it's very hard for Barca. But yet the domination of the game, I think Barcelona is going to dominate the game. But one thing, so they say, listen, check Barca team now. The thing is, if they are able to appear a strategy to stop Thuram, Dumfries, but the thing is, the highlight no mo bono. Highlight no mo bono. Akwa say with the 5 back no more Inter 4 ball. They have more men in attack, and Inter will have ways and means because who share team over high line. Now who more men at the flanks are. Also another striker who beat me Puli Kubasi and Inigo Martinez akọ mfimfia. I had a bit my bomb. And they own several times Barcelona they defend very well if they have Alejandro Balde. And I'm for Nyamba Balde. So this to check it Balde. The number of duels, aerial duels, tackles, interceptions are only at the left side of defense for Barcelona. And mind blowing. Apart from how effective or attack no, or put or the a lot of things at the Barcelona defense. So missing him will be very key for Barcelona. And also with Abraham Tenderi Jules Koundé, who has been playing as the right back for this most of the time this season. And I don't think so. Bet me putting much effort like how Arna Jules Koundé because on any match fitness he's not been playing like how he used to. So to me, I think that if Barcelona are able to stop Inter Milan from not scoring so many goals like they did, it was Spain. They can become victorious. Free Milan, no more victorious. But the thing is, Inter Milan, the best defense in the Champions League this season. Can they also stop Barcelona for? Maybe they can stop them from not scoring that goals or more averaging in every game this season. But I don't think they can stop them from not scoring. But used to check the history of the game. Historically, no, Inter for normal win 9 of our last 11 home semi-final games in Europe, despite the fact that Champions League and now Europa League. And another success, since if they are going to win now, their hope is to meet match on 4th time. And then they also check it Barcelona. After some more Madrid or Magic Copa, they also have ways and means almost beat Magic de la Liga because they are leading by 4 points. But Inter Milan right now, say chess game no, because they are trailing behind Napoli in the league, and if they have any chance, provided say Napoli they are all winning their last 3 games in the Serie A, they are still not going to win the Scudetto. But Barcelona on the other hand, vice versa, they are almost leading their rivals Real Madrid 4 points. And they also have a chance another trophy with a treble possible for them. But at least all, in this history of the Champions League, especially Barcelona for least all, this season, I'm winning 24 games out of the last 30 games. And the only loss by was against Air Dortmund, knowing for a fact, at least all, now Omar winning the first leg comfortably. They don't have nothing to lose. And in Rafinha, and as a Lamine Yamal, Rafinha this season, least all, 20 goals contribution in the UEFA Champions League. The only player with such record in the Champions League history of the Champions already. Messi record for Barcelona in the Champions League in a calendar season and in a single campaign. We're breaking his record. Right now, he's yet to break Cristiano Ronaldo record. In 2017, 2013, 2014, only had 17 goals, only had 14 assists in a single UEFA Champions League campaign. And then Rafinha is also doing that. And then Abraham Lamine Yamal, as a teenager, also record the teenager, also I share 5 goals in this term, only behind Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe, and Raul Momo 6 and Erling Haaland 10. These are the only players they were teenagers share more than 5 goals in the single UEFA Champions League campaign. So to me, we check the players, especially Barcelona have players who can hit them, but yes, Thuram has to live up to expectation. Me pesa sa social media and since na go be post video be asema si be 2020. I feel no day, but I'm not hoping say e be affected though. And I know that Thuram will be he's a strong guy. I'm not expecting say sa Obana or so abono na kokoi bibia o man sa I'm not expecting say sa conversation be mo enumere. He should live up to expectation. But at least looking at this game, it's going to be an interesting game. Both teams are losing 2 key players. Pavard and Lautaro Martinez. Barcelona are losing 2 key defenders. Abrante and Alejandro Balde and Jules Koundé. 2 key players for both teams. Bako, defenders to striker Bako, captain and another defender. He has been so influential in this team. And then Hansi Flick, record, especially the history of the game, which I say, Barca and time call San Siro and time call pick a win. But they've done it before. Omar Reneda. They've won at the San Siro before. So looking in this game, I see both teams scoring.
Okay.
I see both teams scoring. But if Inter Milan, Thuram, if they are able to score goals, now Omutimi Sansu put in another much better performance. The Champions League this season, I'ma keep 8 clean sheets. I consider just 5 goals. If Omutimi defend it very well, I know that definitely Barcelona is going to score. Or they won't even stop them from scoring. But if they are able to limit the 3.1 average goals, Omutimi have an edge over this game. Historically, game no echo in favor of them. But currently, with this Barcelona attack, it will be very difficult. So I'm going for maybe a 2-1 victory for Barcelona, or maybe a double chance. Even if Inter beats me and winning, the history of the game, echo in favor of them. But if Inter beats me, winning, it might go on extra time. But there's my full-time prediction. I see a 2-1 victory for Barcelona.
So how do now it is clear that players are only making Barca team no ebe clicky. One player, which is Lamine Yamal. Because Inter will always be behind the ball and try and exploit the spaces. Barca beja or Maha line. So a counter attack, everybody can. But now Barca now also breaking Inter Milan down. How do Inter Milan stop Lamine Yamal? Now at their left side, obviously, Weber, a left-footed centre back.
Inigo.
No, I'm talking about Inter Milan.
Inter Milan.
Yes.
Bastoni.
Obviously, Bejina left side. Then
Acerbi and Bisek.
Now we Pavard, but I don't know.
Pavard Ombo. He's not. Many should some started Pavard.
How am I rushing a man about it? Memorable. Because they feel say he is much better than Bisek.
All right.
Whatever be the case, I think Bisek was okay. They managed to tame when once the Barca and create chances from their left side because of a left-footed player and a down. Most of chances if he the right side.
Yeah.
So Carlos Augusto also to me ball left wing back DiMarco. You say what DiMarco have over him passing control at the tight spaces
and also experience
going forward any other day. Carlos Augusto can give you the defensive solidarity now. DiMarco any. So in this case, why na because you need to stop Lamine Yamal. Very, very important because last week had after almost share first goal no, and almost to me Lamine Yamal. I think that they could have won the game, but they allow him to exploit himself. Of course, a lot of havoc. How do they deal with him?
Yeah, used to the question now is the only answer is you cannot stop Lamine Yamal. That is a fact. So back here this season, you be analysis which the reason why Barcelona have not stoppable is they have players at any given position, at any given circumstance, they can relieve or redeem you. Used to well. Anytime they have creative wingers, they are the new deal. They can do everything to create, to score, to assist, to dribble, to take on. And Washa, answer Inzaghi can say Lamine Yamal was the main 2 guy. That is Inter Milan coach, At least in the pre-match conference when you be at so when you be at I say obey you so 3 players to stop Lamine Yamal. But the thing is, game na here, but list 11v11. In his own conquest, saw the 3 players. And now 2 players go 2 players back. Uber shorty, it was somewhere. And the thing is, in as much as Lamine Yamal, the gem, the go-to guy of Barcelona team, we shouldn't forget that Rafinha is the best player for Barcelona this season. 20 goals contribution. In all the 3 players who go Lamine Yamal as well. Rafinha will score. She not short or both man, a couple boy Yansuma, a year on goal. So there is no way Ubet must stop Barcelona attack. A fact. Because bisa Asakani ni team no Atiko team share 2 goals, 3 goals. Yet Barcelona be go. Inti Barca the money guy said defensively they are not one of the best. And Barca struggles to play it against a team over two top. In Zobekaya, the first leg analysis, the last picture I remember Sakare also was on one team article. Any Barca game on by 4-4. How could Barca any Inigo Martinez struggle to stop Alvarez and Alexander Solo? Right now, Lautaro Martinez, but if Anatovic or Mehdi Taremi, whoever will pair with Thuram, they can cause havoc to Barcelona team. But the thing is, can they stop Barcelona from not scoring? Because listo, Lamine Yamal. So Oka say ube stopping now. The only way you can stop him is umanin take you on. Or chin one way at all. That means a foul, free kick. But the passing range, how adia eka Lamine Yamal bon man ni hu ni say e ultimate bibia, and how with me finding ways. See how I ultimately finding Ferran Torres, and that wasn't the first American Lamine Yamal pass. Maybe I'm finding in Yamba. So apart from scoring that good goals, taking on all switching to players, Emma game near lively. Ne pass ni idea people are not paying attention to. So between the three players at on Angelisto, Obebo pass na Ferran Torres, Pedri befa home, and now Rafinha, or even if they are going to start Lewandowski, still they will find ways and means to score. So listen, a question of beside is there is no way to stop Rafinha, but the only way Inter beat my say, or more prove is they are the best defense team in the Champions League this season. 5 goals conceded, least 8 clean sheets. They should minimize the number of goals that Barcelona be shipping in, and they should make sure they will utilize. They can also score because this Barcelona defense, Medicaya, how Inter best set it up, they will have ways and means to hit them. In the first leg, Inter Inzaghi who say Barca cannot defend them, especially in set pieces. They cannot defend them, especially in set pieces. Barca cannot defend them whenever they are coming from the wide areas. So stopping Lamine Yamal is very difficult. It is something that it can be done. But oh yeah, there will be spaces in behind. And all the Marco, all the Asebia na Bastoni, as also the Hakancha no go crack or cramping on one side, he will play that penetrative passes to Ferran Torres, who likes to run. And then maybe Lamine Yamal will not be on the score sheet, but he will create chance. Emma Ferran Torres and Rafinha Mache, or even if Utimi stopping him, which is very unlikely. They seem to see a lot of space, a lot of hole. Rather two defense. Rafinha, who is the most dangerous player in Barcelona team this season, also they are affected. So if you are able to stop him, other players will cook. If you are not able to stop him, he will cook as well. Into the other ben say, Oben no aduane kra na. Wanu adu baby na no kokudum stove no. Wanu adu baby na kokudum stove no. Nja say emo na bin, but I say emu ye din ebi ye din wom. So stopping them from not scoring more goals, because if Inter were able to do that, minimizing the goals, they could have come on top as victorious in the first leg. So at least the question is there is no way Ubit must stop Lamine Yamal. I've never seen that before. Say Obia pocketing Lamine Yamal. Or only he is not that 1v1 or a 1v1 specialist, but he doesn't strive on that to create chance. That's the can I say. Who stopping some name China? Or pass. And that pass, won't stop it. And even if all the 3 players, 4 players continue to other players able taking that spaces, that hole now are creating on and their barber show. So to me, I think that it's going to be very difficult. The games need there. If Inter are able to go away, they should defend very well. Defending well, making sure say they won't let Barcelona score more than 2 goals. If they are able to secure that solid defense, from avoiding Barcelona scoring more than 2 goals in this game, Inter can win this game. But if Oman Timia no man defending, then Oma attack and so Tura morning either Mediterranean or another vegetable and convert the least chances on beat create here. It will affect them in this game list.
Okay. Yeah. Share the odds available now for sorry. And a commentary babaso. Okay, babaso obi a omobeti na bibia timako. Nti share na odds available odds for we ni enko.
Okay, and me odds no me bet builder or the Barcelona, that is Inter Milan game because we him say it will be one of the most exciting game of the night. Intimate corners over 9.5 corners in this game, over 2.5 bookings game over 2.5 goals in so game and a second half 0.5 odds no air 4 odds have my bet builder and my option to code no XZDY.
Okay.
Yeah, so my selection for the day, double chance for Barcelona, over 2.5 bookings in this game, over 9.5 corners in this game, and over 2.5 goals. It will give me more. Builder selection. Odds now is 6 odds. Barcelona double chance, over 2.5 goals in this game, over 2.5 bookings, and over 9.5 corners. Code no, KZDY. KZDY.
Okay. Yeah. Meso bed builder. Out of 12. Yeah, some keto kra. Pesa me share we ni na me. Okay, so corners 10.5 corners, away 5.5, home 4.5, and bookings so 4.5, bookings 4.5. Nti mamen can be booking 4.5, home over 4.5, away corners, that is corners na over 4.5 home, and away corners over 5.5, and a match ni na corners over 10.5. Odd of 12. Yeah, Yanshendo under 20 to mean a victory. 1-0. I think so. Almost a game ni be. On to me should be. Yeah, it mean 1-0. They say or 4 point Senegal after so. Yanshendo 2 minutes enough again. Sorry.
Yes, I think with results it was a good result. Senya with Inyamane because it wasn't a convincing performance, but I think in tournaments, Adia here a result with 3 points with a goal at the back will put you ahead of the others, especially so more Ebeboa. So it's one thing we will just hope say they can continue with that same performance. Ne Nyama etimi aden akoyi ewo. Being himself with this setup with friends saying there are free yemu and the likes will be able to put in their effort abwa ama ometimi ahwe say they can win the tournament or get into a sport ometimi qualify for the World Cup betimi abwa Ghana. These are some of the things you hear as a nation with our young talents going and performing so well. Ebuama creating a lot of chance say emne with scouts in Nyama Rebel Madrid say they want to find out the country produce this likes of Michael Essien, Steven Appiah and get more young boys into their setup. And they you say Europe abofune ni dim college ye pant say tournament say cause any baby so they should put up good performance and also make sure some raise Ghana flag not very high. Ama tournament we position as a team that near team qualify for the World Cup or even go on to win the World Cup, go on to win the AFCON near the Bakwa Ghana ni Bia Eshe.
Okay.
Yeah, Listo, I think that it was an exciting game. Definitely one of the difficult games I ever won this season. Oh boy, against Senegal, the defending champions. This Senegal team, Listo, in over 20 games, they are unbeaten. So for us to beat them, and in over 20 goals, they've been scoring. So for us to beat them avoid them from scoring. And yeah, there. And no, I mean, was a Chelsea boy no my signing no Bobby. That midfield that in TV, Dominic Strasbourg, he was play. They, I mean, Ucheke omo talent now. Where their players are playing and how they manage to we manage to stop them. Yeah, there. Me, you started season, and I say started tournament. There is one thing that I don't know. The Aziz Misbah and Nigeria free partnership. These are two strikers at your wall. At least all. Misbah, he has been with the team throughout a year from African games or one boy in Nigeria free and anytime be another ball any. But this time Misbah our form. And if you qualify team preparation here, so looks like how ball Misbah. Ama then stop it one attacker from playing. That is the I said no Sulemana Nyana Mbobi.
Yeah.
The first game a free year ambo. So clear say we are going to play these two players and then the Abdulaziz Abba wide. And list two. Abdulaziz they was the born. What the neighbor ring say no who say take ons at the far right side where you're crossing. Also who the ball the left side. I don't know Feliz Obamana ball in fin. And then because of one airborne we are playing Mafu. Any a free fire they on be occupy the free for from Stromgrass. On be occupy that wings hono they were be can fin for then yeja Fenyin Dennis Mafu any Opoku guy no free one again by you just had two players ni pe won fin ho internet na affecting but e ma yentimi create a lot of chances but we check omo team na their striker Ibrahim Dieng I team stopping from not scoring and then the player make us a Chelsea first and Papa Dion or Strasbourg and all these players they did very well. So I think that Despond and then Ranton idea, but they should find ways. If you bomb is bow any free year boom, never affecting how we play, how we defend that. We should drop one and keep one. Then okay. More wingers maybe might create a lot of chance because it was a question unfortunate and said Yetiminya go very early. We defended very well. Yes, I think that win a very good victory for us right now.